Grow your practice, grow your wealth, grow your impact. Find out how to spend less time in the dental chair and more time on the things you love.
I want to welcome you back to the Dental Wealth Podcast. I'm really excited to have you back. Another great week, and wanted to follow up on something. You know, when I create these podcasts, a lot of the times when I do these, the material is just completely authentic. What I mean by that is this isn't canned or something I prep out for 12 weeks at a time. Is oftentimes it's in the marketplace. There's something I see and something, pulling back on my business acumen and experience and saying, I think this is something that people really need to hear. And the one that came across my desk and used the word authenticity was, I actually know. In business, if you want to be really successful, I'm talking about as successful as you want to be, you got to be authentic. And I mean authentic to what you believe in, what your passion is. This is why people say things like, if you do what you're passionate about, you'll make more money, right? If you do what you love, you'll make more money. Do what you love, people will say, and the money will follow. And there's so much truth to that, which is the idea that if you do what you love and you're passionate about it and you show up every day with that thought process and that mindset, it easily flows. And, what kind of prompted this is I got something that came across my desk the other day, and it was about culture, and it was a person who, was kind of promoting culture from a sales tactic, and they had this belief that if they sell culture because they're not really known for it, if they sold culture, then what would happen is people would come to their organization because they would believe that they believed in culture. And yet, I've actually spent time with this person and know that that's not the case. They don't believe in culture. And in fact, they call people, negative words on the team, and they believe that people are dispensable and that culture really doesn't matter. And I thought, what a dilemma in building a great company is not being true to who you are, even as an individual. We all have our own strengths. And it's hard to promote something you don't believe in and truly sell it. And when I mean selling, I don't mean in the traditional form of selling. I just mean sell it like you believe in it, like you own it, when you're passionate about something. I remember a conversation one time where we were at one of our events, one of our very large events, and one of the team members came up and they were worried. I said, what are you worried about? And it was, I'm worried that somebody might get our content, right? Somebody might get out of here with our binder. And I said, you can't fake what's in here, right? You can't fake what you believe in. You can't fake authenticity. Like, you can't replace, my heart's there. And by the way, if somebody has just as much passion and drive and energy as serving and helping people, well, then hell, take it. If you're going to take it and go serve and help people, then good. Maybe that's what it was there for to begin with. And so I'm okay with that. And I have an abundance mentality. And so, but if you don't believe in it, right? If you get up and try to sell a message that you're not convicted about, it's not going to come across. People can feel it, right? When I'm in a room and I'm talking to teams, and I'm talking to doctors, and I'm like on fire, right? I can't even eat because I'm like in the zone, right? And I'm so excited and I'm passionate, and I'm delivering, and I'm like in the meat of it, and I'm loving life because I love to see impact, and I love to see before and after, and I love to see people take great dental businesses and do awesome, amazing things and impact their team and family and community, and you just can't fake that. And you can use words like culture and you can use words like impact, but unless you truly believe it, it's really hard to do. Right? And in fact, people around you will smell it, right? You can smell it, and so don't, my message on this is to say, how do you overcome that? And how do you use authenticity to grow in an organization? I was working at a company, one of my first jobs out of college. I was working with this company, and it was $1 billion company, and the CEO was probably the least liked person. He wasn't a great person. I mean, as far as taking care of people. Now, he might have been a great business owner, and he might have had great business acumen, but as far as taking care of culture and team, he wasn't good at it. And he couldn't have faked it. I mean, if he came in a room and tried to fake like he cared about culture and team, he couldn't have done it because he doesn't care. I say maybe doesn't care is the wrong thing to say. Maybe that's not authentically what he cares about. So what do you think he did to overcome that? I mean, it's $1 billion company. He went and found someone who authentically cared. He found a COO who ran this organization. I'm telling you, this was multi-state business, and this COO would walk up to every single person. He knew your name and your family and your background. I mean, I don't even know how this guy remembered all this. I just thought, holy moly. I mean, how does this guy keep, I don't know, maybe he had some type of a ledger or journal or something. Maybe he looked at it before he walked into the room. I have no idea. But I'll tell you this, when he walked up and he shook your hand and he asked you how you were doing and he asked about your wife or your kids, it meant something because you knew this guy's position. And so what happens is the CEO actually used his authentic self to create a better organization. He didn't fake who he was. He didn't try to become someone he wasn't. He didn't look at someone on social media or somebody in the industry and try to emulate that person knowing he wasn't that person, right? It's sometimes people ask me, they say, Eric, will you come and be in front of our teams? One of the reasons why our leadership retreat every year is such a gigantic, huge, awesome, amazing event. And we've got people, team members saying it's changing their lives and high-fiving and so dramatic is because doctors will say to me, Eric, I try to convey the message the way you do, and it doesn't come out the way, right? And that's one of the reasons they bring their team to an event like that, right? Is because my authenticity is going to come out in that because I'm so passionate about the subject. What are you passionate about? Authentically. Why are you doing all this? And I think it's really important to know, people, well, I'm trying to build this company so I can become a millionaire. I'm trying to become a, multi-million-dollar business. Well, why are you trying to become a multi-million-dollar business? Well, because if I became a multi-million-dollar business, I would be able to do all the things I want to do. Why do you want to be able to do all the things you want to do? I mean, we can drill this thing down and realize, and I think you have to, right? Spend a little bit of time. If you're a CEO of a dental business and you're CEO, you want to create wealth, and this is a dental wealth podcast. I mean, keep in mind, the whole point of this is to help you grow a phenomenally successful business where you can create wealth, where you can create impact, where you can become a multi-millionaire, and you can do those things, but understanding that this is the stuff that people skip. And they try to become someone they're not. Who are you? That's what a deep question for. If you're listening to this way of work, you may have to pull over, right? So that's like a deep question. But think about that for a minute. Authentically, who are you? Right? What are you passionate about? What would you do for free? If I asked you to write down, what would you do for free? And what do you believe in for your organization? I had a doctor tell me one time, she said, she was 100% dead honest with me. And she looked me in the face and she said, I'll never forget it. She literally said to me, I don't care about impacting other people. And as much as I don't love that message, I'll be honest with you, hell, at least she was authentic. At least she knew that she needed to find out why she didn't want to impact anybody else. And because she was able to get to her authentic self, she could get past that. You have to create, as a CEO, like if you're leading an organization, you need to understand, like, who are you authentically? What do you believe in and what are you passionate about? Don't just listen to me and say, well, I listened to Eric and so now I'm passionate about helping people or making an impact or becoming a leader. I mean, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. What are you more passionate about? Because that's where your unique ability comes out and you become really great at what you do. And then we put emphasis around what you do really well. And we build an organization around that. And then we hire the people. By the way, you can't skip culture, right? You can't skip it. Right? It's a big part of building an amazing organization. But if you're not good at it, we need to find somebody who is. Maybe that's why a lot of people hire companies like Tower Leadership. I mean, this is a leadership company. We believe in creating leaders in organizations. Not just the doctor, but the team, right? And leaders in their community. And so be passionate about what you're passionate about. If you're, I've got a book coming out pretty soon with Forbes, and we were having this conversation. And one of the things I had said in there was, one of the people I do not work with is, I've had people tell me before they have no life insurance for their family. And I said, excuse me? And they were like, well, if I die, they can take care of themselves and figure it out, right? Hey, those are authentic people. They're not authentically people I want to work with. But at least they know who they are. Here's the message I'm trying to get through. And I really want you to get this. You have to know what makes you tick. You have to know what authentically. Don't fake it. Don't try to be someone you're not. That's probably one of the worst things you can be. It's like a salesperson who really needs a sale really bad. Okay. Everyone's had that salesperson who's walked up to them and they stink because they need the sale so bad that, like, you can just tell how bad they need it. And versus the person who walks up. Imagine the salesperson who really doesn't care. And that person who doesn't really care, it's not that they don't care, it's just they don't need the sale. And think about that. Those people, when they walk up to you to actually get you to move forward, they tend to do it because they actually believe in what they're doing. And because they don't need to make the sale, they tend to care more. And they tend to just put the truth out there. And they tend to just be honest. And that's what I'm getting at in this, is to say, when you're not authentic, people can smell it. They can tell when you're not authentic. As a leader and as a CEO and as a spouse, as a father and a mother, becoming great is a process. I don't know that you ever stop, by the way. I don't think I was talking to a group one time about this idea of leadership being a capital, right? And it's because you can spend it, by the way, leadership is a capital. You can utilize leadership to grow an organization because you accumulate, in a sense, leadership almost like a capital, almost like dollars. Because we've seen people who make mistakes. They say it takes 25 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to destroy it. I would say that those people spend their leadership capital. And what ends up happening is, you're authentic, you actually start accumulating leadership capital. And you become a better leader because you're authentic to who you are. When you're authentic to who you are, you can build things around you. So when you're in a dental practice, as the CEO of a dental practice, you start to say to yourself, who am I authentically? What am I loving? What I'm passionate about? What would I do anything for? And then find the things that you're not passionate about, but that you know are needed for the organization, and bring them in. That's what great leaders do. But they don't fake like they're great at something they're not. And they don't fake heart when they don't have it. They go get people who are passionate about those things, who love those things. And it doesn't matter whether it's the smallest task. I mean, let me give you an example of what I mean, which sounds kind of silly, but it's kind of true. Like, the idea of putting things on a calendar drives me nuts. Like, I don't want to manage my calendar. I have people that do that. I thank gosh for them that they do that and they manage the calendar. But there are people that love the calendar. They just love it. They can't stop like planning and organizing. And so as a CEO, I don't want to be like, fake the fact that I should be organized and know how to do accounting. That's not true. I don't need to do that. And so I go find talented people who are passionate and love it. Now, that's a very small example, right? I mean, I'm really talking more of a task-oriented example, but it's the same as culture. It's the same as taking care of your team and creating systems. You find what you're passionate authentically. But I would encourage you on this podcast. This is what I would tell you to do. I would tell you to sit down and just take a few moments. This is the stuff we don't do, is just a little self-analysis and just say, authentically speaking, no filter. What do I love? What am I passionate about? And in this sense, I'm talking about the organization. Look, you might do this at home too. What authentically do I love, care about, and passionate about? Don't fake it. Don't try to put in things because you think you should. Own who you are, because when you own that, then you can build systems around the things you're not passionate about. It's just because what the mistake is, just because you're not passionate about it, that doesn't mean you don't do it. It doesn't mean you don't go build those systems out. It just means that might not be where your heart and your passion is. Because when we figure out who authentically you are, we can fill out systems for the rest. And when we do that, we build a well-rounded organization that's authentic. And then when we have conversations with our team and other individuals, we can be authentic about our strengths. And then I'm telling you, when you do that, you will bring in people that are authentically strong around maybe areas you're not. The organization will grow so much quicker. And there's honesty. And it builds trust. Patrick Lencioni has talked so many times. If you have never read Patrick Lencioni, you probably should. But about what creates in 5 dysfunctions of a team, one of the things that is confrontation creates trust. And you have to have trust in an organization. And to create trust, you have to be authentic. You cannot have a great organization if you don't have trust. And you can't have trust without authenticity. Thanks for joining me this week. I love having you on this podcast. Love sharing the message with you. Hit like and subscribe. We'd love to have you here every single week. We have so many more things to talk about, and I can't wait to share those with you.